Welcome to Cow Talks. I'm Chris Pravat.
And I am Marcelo Valau, Forage Extension Specialist with the University of Florida.
And this is our podcast, where we dive deep into the main topics affecting livestock and forage production in the southeastern United States.
From the mainstream media to new technologies straight from our research stations.
From cattle prices to international trade.
From our pastures and beyond.
Join us on this journey as we tackle the main issues affecting our producers and the sustainability of our production systems.
My name is Doug Mayo. I'm the County Extension Director and also the Livestock and Forages Agent in Jackson County, Florida. Our office is located in Marianna. And I primarily manage a small team of 10 people that serve people of Jackson County and share University of Florida information and provide expertise. And my contribution, again, is mainly with cattle and forage producers.
Fantastic. Doug, appreciate you being here. Doug, with all due respect, you are one of our most senior agents and most experienced agents.
Been with Extension now 27 years.
27 years. So you've been to many Forage Workers tours. And I was wondering if you can give us a little bit of a historical perspective of the event and the importance of this event for our group and also for the producers we're serving.
Sure. So it moves around the state, which makes it fun because you get to experience production in all different kinds of environments. And so it's a mixture of conference where we share information about what everybody's working on through research or extension. But then the second day we get to go to farms in the host area. This year we hosted the event here in Marianna and had a nice group come up and shared a lot of things that people are working on and key issues and concepts that they're researching. And then our tour day, Jose DeBay and I worked on putting together a group of people that are integrating both livestock and crop production. So we visited 3 farms and got their perspective on how that can work. And each one of them's doing it different. I have quite a bit of research from a major project that's on here since like 2002, where we do row crop farming and cattle production in the same 160-acre irrigated field. From that work, we've seen more people have an interest in trying to integrate cattle production with their row crops. And so each of the producers we visited with gave us some perspective how they utilize cropland with their cattle production.
So one of the highlights of the Forage Workers tours is indeed those farm visits, because we get to see firsthand some of the adopters of the innovation that we have been developing at the university with our farmers, and that is very exciting. And this is the example of the crop livestock systems. How do you see that crop livestock systems integrated in a broad perspective in the production systems in North Florida?
Well, I mean, it's very clear as you look at all the ag statistics across I-10 through the Panhandle. Peanut and cotton production are king. That's the bulk of the acreage, and a lot of the emphasis here is on that. But there's a long history of utilizing livestock. At one point there was hogs and crops, but the hog market really disappeared in this area. So now the major emphasis is integrating cattle. And a lot of operations do it different ways. But what we were able to see, Jansen Lord has a backgrounding operation where he gets cattle in from all over the tri-states area and gets them ready for feed yards. And part of that is utilizing cattle leases on irrigated crop land, but he also has a operation where he can feed the cattle. So he's got a year-round operation, but his winter program really focuses on utilizing this irrigated or even dry land, crop land, with high quality oats and ryegrass that works well with cover crop for these crop farmers, but managed differently, planted heavier, fertilized for forage production rather than just a cover crop. And farmers get paid gain. And Jansen's able to prepare the cattle that his company owns and get them ready for sale. We next went to see Beaver Yoder, and Beaver has a long history of working with crop farming himself, but has become specialized in backgrounding in stocker cattle production. And he has some of his own land, but during the winter and spring, his focus is utilizing irrigated crop land that he can really boost the growth. And so he's taking cattle, he's buying in livestock auctions. So typically these are small operations where the cattlemen can't sell large truckload lots, and so he's buying 350 to 450 pound calves through the market and putting those together, getting them prepared, and then on cropland. And then middle of April, he's selling truckload lots of cattle that are ready to go to feed and do well because they've been backgrounded, they've been vaccinated, they've been trained to be handled as a group. And so he's been successful making that work. And our final stop on our tour was with Terry Stone. Terry has some relations with crop farms, but his primary interaction here was not with row crops, but with hay production. So he's utilizing perennial peanut that is known for high quality hay, but in the spring of the year, he's overseeding it with ryegrass and raising wean cattle on it, and getting that early high quality grazing from the perennial peanut as well as the ryegrass. And then later in the year, he's using that same high quality forage to produce brown bale hay for his brood cow herd. So he's not dealing with peanuts and cotton, but he is balancing hay production and wean calf grazing. So all three of them had a very different customer and input and desires, but I think the main takeaway is that forage production and livestock production can certainly go hand in hand and fit with other types of farming operations. They each shared with us some real challenges that come with this type of thing. You got to make the timing work, and so it's not the same as land you completely manage, but all of them benefited from superior quality forages and the high fertility of the land they were working with. And it's one of those things that you don't just develop overnight. It's something that all three of these gentlemen have spent a lot of time fine-tuning and figuring out their systems, and it's certainly not easily imitated, but there's plenty of opportunity. And I think that was a big takeaway from the day. We saw three examples of people that were utilizing agricultural land in the area. But as we rode around, we saw field after field of irrigated cropland sitting fallow, that there was tremendous opportunity for more producers to work cooperatively to benefit both operations.
That's correct. Yeah, I would say the very different systems, but all with approach into quality of forage and weight gain. That was very interesting to see. And of
then,
course,
one of the surprises for me that day, there's always something you don't think about, but one of the surprises to me was Jansen Lord is actually working with a crop farmer to provide oat haylage or oat silage. So he's even figured out a way where fencing is not an option and cattle actually on the land is an option, but he's still getting high quality feed and working cooperatively with the farmer, but the cattle never leave his place. So that was a unique approach as well. And I think all three of them shared with us that, you got to figure out how it can benefit both parties.
that's true. Very interesting systems. Doug, one last question. What is the greatest value of this event, the Forage Workers Tours, for our colleagues in Extension?
Well, I think one of the things, we spend a lot of time working on trainings and things for producers, and certainly that's our goal. But it's also a great opportunity when we just can learn and ask a lot of questions amongst ourselves and talk about, strategies based on things we've learned. And so there is, there's real merit in having the people that are dedicated to forage production get together once a year and then get some inspiration from some of our top producers at each area, and figuring out ways that we can work together to get messages out to people we learned and saw and interacted about. And so there's this case that we didn't have ranchers on this tour, but there's certainly a lot of opportunities of things we can go back home and share from what we saw, and maybe even stimulate some interaction further with individuals as we talk about their own operations.
Thank you for joining us on this Cow Talks podcast. We hope you have enjoyed this conversation.
If you have any questions, ideas, follow-ups, or comments, please reach out to us through our email, forages@ifas.ufl.edu. That is forages@ifas.ufl.edu, or find us on our social media, uf.forages on Instagram, UF Forage Team on Facebook, or UF IFAS Forages on YouTube.